When Amina's stepmother shouted at her to go and sell the coconuts, she tried to plead, her voice trembling. But I am very sick today. Her stepmother's eyes narrowed, twisting with anger. Sick? You think I care about your sickness? You will go, or I will beat you myself. Amina's tiny body trembled. Her chest burned with fever and her head throbbed. The thin dress she wore offered no warmth, and the cold had already seeped into her bones. You are useless, the woman spat. All I see is a lazy child. Get up. Go sell those coconuts, or you will feel my whip. Amina tried to stand. Her legs shook violently, and each step toward the door felt like climbing a mountain. Her heart raced, not from excitement, but from fear. Amina had been living in cruelty for years. Her mother had died when she was very young, leaving her vulnerable. Her stepmother had taken her mother's place, but brought only pain. Each day, Amina worked from dawn until night. She cooked over the smoky stove, cleaned floors until her arms ached, washed clothes until her fingers cracked, and carried water from the well for hours. Her stepmother sat idly, criticizing every small mistake, shouting insults, and punishing her with threats and beatings. Lazy, useless, worthless, the woman yelled every day. Why can't you be like other children? Do you want this house to fall apart? Her father was weak, broken by poverty, and often sided with the stepmother. Why can't you be obedient like other children? He would shout. Your stepmother is right. You must work. Amina swallowed her tears, hiding in corners after every beating, every insult. Her world was filled with pain, hunger, and endless labor. One afternoon, the stepmother shoved a heavy basket of coconuts into Amina's arms. Go! If you don't sell them, we starve! Amina's teeth chattered as she stepped outside. The rain poured in sheets, soaking her hair and clothes. Mud clung to her bare feet, and each step was agony. She sat on the street corner, balancing the coconuts in her tiny hands. Her body shook uncontrollably. People passed her by, umbrellas shielding them from the storm. Some looked at her pitifully, some whispered, "Poor child," but no one stopped. "Fresh coconuts! Buy fresh coconuts!" she called, her tiny voice weak and hoarse. The cold pierced her lungs. Her head spun. She felt dizzy, but giving up was not an option. If she did, there would be no food that night. Her stepmother would punish her. Hours passed. Amina's lips turned blue. She hugged herself in the basket for warmth. Each coconut slipped dangerously in her hands. The rain fell harder, and a cold wind tore through her thin dress. Her small body shivered violently, her fingers numb, but she refused to cry out, fearing her stepmother's wrath. A sleek black car slowed nearby. A well-dressed man stepped out, his eyes immediately locking on Amina. Concern filled his face. "Child, why are you out here in the rain?" he asked softly. Amina flinched. Strangers had often caused her harm before, but there was something gentle, human, and warm in his voice. I must sell these? My stepmother? She will beat me if I don't, she whispered, voice trembling. The man knelt beside her. But you're sick. Look at you, shivering, soaking wet. How can anyone be so cruel? Tears streamed down Amina's cheeks. She told him everything. Her mother's death, her stepmother's cruelty, the endless work, and her hunger. Each word weighed heavy, but the man listened quietly, his eyes filling with sorrow and anger, not at her, but at the injustice she suffered. Come with me, he said softly. I will take care of you. Amina hesitated. Fear and hope collided in her heart. Slowly she nodded. He took her to the hospital, got her checked, bought medicine, and even gave her some money. For the first time, Amina felt warmth, not from food or shelter, but from human kindness. She wanted to thank him, but words failed. She could only hold his hand briefly, feeling hope for the first time in years. Amina returned home thinking she had relief, but her stepmother snatched the money and medicine and threw them on the ground. You think I will let a little girl waste my money? She hissed. Work now, don't just sit there. Her father, believing the lies her stepmother whispered about her laziness, shouted too. Amina's tiny heart broke. She had touched kindness, but home remained a prison of cruelty. Days passed in fear, hard labor, and hunger, yet Amina's hope flickered quietly, refusing to die. The rain kept pouring. Amina sat on the muddy corner, shivering violently, her tiny hands clutched tightly around the coconuts. Every person who passed seemed like a mountain to climb. Some ignored her completely. Others looked with pity but did not stop. Her stomach ached from hunger. Her throat burned. Her body felt like ice, but her stepmother's words echoed in her mind. If you don't sell them, we starve. Do you want that? A gust of wind knocked over a few coconuts. Amina scrambled to pick them up. She held her breath, hoping no one saw the clumsiness. Her fingers were numb, and her little arms trembled. Each coconut felt like a boulder. She tried to stand, only to slip in the mud. Some people laughed. "Poor little girl, get out of the rain," one shouted, walking away. Amina's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to scream, to cry, but she couldn't. Not in front of strangers. She remembered her mother, her warm hugs, the stories she used to tell. But that was gone. Her stepmother had taken everything, leaving only cold words, punishment, and hunger. The thought made her chest ache, her tears mixing with the rain on her face. The same black car appeared again, slowing down near her. Amina's heart skipped a beat. She had learned not to trust strangers, but something about the man's eyes, the warmth and concern, made her hesitate. "Child, why are you still out here?" he asked, voice filled with worry. Amina tried to speak, but her teeth chattered. I have to sell these or my stepmother." Her voice cracked, fear and pain spilling into each word. The man knelt beside her again. "You're shivering so badly. Look at your hands. Look at you. How can someone be so cruel?" Tears streamed down Amina's cheeks. She poured out her heart. Every beating she endured, every hunger pang, every cruel word whispered by her stepmother, she told him everything. The man's face darkened. "I will not let this continue," he said softly. "You don't deserve this. No child should." He lifted her gently into the car. The warmth of the seat, the shelter from the rain, the smell of dry leather, it was all new to Amina. She closed her eyes, letting herself feel safe for the first time in years. At the hospital, the doctors checked her. Her fever was high, her body weak. He bought the medicine, wrapped her in dry blankets, and even gave her some money. For the first time, Amina felt warmth, not from food, but from human kindness. She wanted to thank him, but tears prevented words. Amina returned home, hoping for a little relief, but her stepmother snatched the money and medicine and threw them on the floor. "You think I will let a little girl waste my money?" she hissed. "Work now. Don't just sit there." Her father shouted too, believing the lies her stepmother spread about Amina being lazy and ungrateful. Amina sank to the floor, hugging her knees. The warmth of hope she felt with the stranger was gone, replaced by the cold reality of home. Her body ached. Her heart ached. And yet she whispered silently to herself, "I will survive. I must survive." Amina lay awake that night thinking of her mother. She remembered the lullabies, the soft hands, the stories. She remembered warmth, love, and protection. But all she had now was cold, rain, and cruel words. Her stepmother's laughter echoed in her ears. "Lazy girl. Useless." She shivered, hugging herself tightly. "Why does life hate me so?" she whispered. "Why am I so small, so weak? Why am I alone?" But deep inside, a small spark of hope remained. The stranger had seen her. He had helped her. Someone out there cared. That thought, small as it was, kept her heart beating. Days passed. Amina went back to the streets, each step heavier than the last. The rain returned, fierce and relentless. She balanced the coconuts carefully, hiding her fear from everyone. People began noticing her. Some stared, some mocked, some ignored. But Amina's determination grew. She could not fail. She could not disappoint the man who had helped her, even though he was far away now. One evening, as the sky darkened, a crowd gathered near the market. Amina's basket tipped, coconuts rolling into the mud. People laughed cruelly. She bent to pick them up, mud soaking her hands, her feet slipping. Just then, the black car appeared again. The same man stepped out, his eyes scanning the crowd until they found her small, shaking figure. "Child!" he called, his voice cutting through the chaos. Amina froze. Fear, hope, and relief collided inside her. Could this really be happening? Could she finally escape? The man walked through the crowd, gently lifting her into his arms. People parted like waves, staring in disbelief. "Come with me," he said softly. "I will not let them hurt you again." Amina returned home that evening, her body exhausted, her little feet soaked and muddy. She clutched the medicine and the small bundle of money the kind man had given her. For a moment, she allowed herself a tiny flicker of hope. "Maybe tonight I will finally rest," she whispered softly. But the moment she stepped inside, her stepmother's eyes narrowed. Her lips twisted into a cruel smile. "Ah, so you went out and came back with something," she sneered, snatching the money and medicine from Amina's trembling hands. Do you think this is yours? Do you think I will let a little girl waste my money? Amina tried to protest. But I need this. Need this? Her stepmother hissed. You don't need anything. You need to work. Now clean this floor before I break your arms. Amina's father, sitting silently in the corner, finally spoke, his voice harsh and cold. Your stepmother is right. Don't waste time whining. Go do your work. Amina's tiny heart shattered. She sank to the floor, tears streaming down her cheeks, the warm hope from the man's kindness crushed under cruelty once again. She thought of the stranger's eyes, gentle and caring, and whispered, Please, someone, help me. Days passed in a blur of suffering. The stepmother's cruelty grew worse. She forced Amina to wake before dawn, cooking, cleaning, scrubbing the floors until her hands were raw. Every mistake was punished with lashes of anger. You are so weak, so useless, her stepmother screamed one morning. Why did your mother even bother having you? Amina worked silently, her head low, the words burning her heart. She longed to scream, to run away, but there was nowhere to go. She was trapped, a tiny bird in a cage with cruel walls. Even when she was sick, coughing and shivering, her stepmother had no mercy. Go sell the coconuts, she shouted. If you don't, we starve. Move! On a rainy day, Amina walked slowly to the street corner, the heavy basket pressing into her weak arms. Her teeth chattered, her whole body shook from fever. She had pleaded with her stepmother, but her cries were ignored. She stood there, cold and wet, calling out, Fresh coconuts, please buy. People passed her, some ignoring, some whispering, Poor child, why is she out here? The rain fell harder. Each drop stung her skin. Her little hands trembled as she balanced the coconuts. Her strength was fading, her vision blurred. She sat down, shivering violently, but dared not leave. A few people laughed. She looks frozen. What a sad little thing. Amina closed her eyes, hugging herself. I will survive. I have to, she thought, recalling the stranger's kindness. Then, like a beacon in the storm, the black car appeared again. The man stepped out, eyes scanning the crowd. When they landed on Amina, his face darkened with sorrow and anger. Child, he called, striding through the rain. Amina froze, fear and hope colliding in her chest. Could this really be happening again? Could someone finally rescue her from the endless cruelty? He knelt beside her, gently lifting her into the car. You don't deserve this, he said softly. No one should live this way. The next day, the man returned, but this time he brought police with him. Call the little girl, he demanded, his eyes piercing through her father and stepmother. Amina, busy scrubbing the floor, froze. Hope surged through her tiny heart. The police arrested the cruel stepmother for child abuse and neglect. Her father was warned to treat Amina kindly, or he too would face punishment. Amina's heart raced. The fear that had gripped her for years began to loosen. She had survived cruelty, neglect, and hunger, and now justice had come. The man smiled at her. From now on, you will go to school. I will provide everything you need. Study well, and one day you will shine. Amina's eyes sparkled with hope. For the first time, she felt safe. She finally had someone who believed in her, someone who would protect her from the cruelty she had endured. Amina's first day at school was like stepping into a new world. The classrooms were bright, warm, and full of voices, so different from the cold silence and cruel words at home. She carried her small bag, her hands trembling, but inside her heart burned hope. The man who had rescued her had promised, You will go to school. You will shine. She sat quietly at first, listening to the teacher, absorbing every word. Her mind was sharp. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity and determination. Even though she was weak from years of hardship, her spirit refused to break. Amina quickly became known for her intelligence and diligence. She answered questions correctly, helped classmates with their studies, and spent every extra moment reading. Her teachers were amazed at her talent and her perseverance. Even though the stepmother and father no longer held power over her, Amina never forgot the lessons of hardship. She remembered the cold, the hunger, the pain. That memory fueled her determination. She studied tirelessly, knowing that one day she could repay the kindness shown to her and help others in need. Years passed. She excelled in every subject. Her diligence and talent earned her top positions in school, but unlike many children, she remained humble, kind, and compassionate, never forgetting the cruel hands that tried to break her and the one man who gave her hope. Soon, Amina grew into a young woman, brilliant and ambitious. Her dreams of helping others led her to pursue medicine. She studied day and night, her mind absorbing knowledge like a sponge. Through sheer determination and talent, she became one of the most promising young doctors in the country. Her reputation for skill and compassion spread far and wide. People admired her not just for her talent, but for her courage and the grace with which she overcame adversity. Then, one fateful day, news reached her. The man who had saved her so many years ago had been in a terrible accident. The doctors declared his condition critical. His life was hanging by a thread. Amina felt a rush of memories. Rain-soaked streets, coconuts, the cold, the fear, and the warmth of his kindness. She knew that the man who believed in her when no one else did was now in desperate need. Without a moment's hesitation, she rushed to the hospital, her heart pounding with fear and determination. She was not just fighting to save a patient. She was fighting to repay a life-changing debt of kindness. The operating room was tense. Machines beeped, monitors displayed critical signs, and every second was precious. Doctors murmured about the slim chance of survival. Amina scrubbed her hands, her mind focused entirely on the task ahead. She whispered quietly, "You gave me hope when I had none. Now I will return it." Every cut, every stitch, every careful move was filled with precision and care. Sweat dripped down her face, her hands steady despite the pressure. Outside, family members waited, praying silently. The tension was unbearable. Every beep of the monitor felt like a heartbeat counting down. And then slowly the line stabilized. The monitors beeped steadily. The crisis was over. He had survived. When he opened his eyes, he recognized her immediately. "Amina, is it really you?" he whispered weakly. Amina smiled, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, I am here. I'm your gift returned. You believed in me when I was nothing. Now I've returned it to you." He held her hand, trembling, a mix of relief, pride, and gratitude in his eyes. "All my life, I never imagined the little girl I rescued would one day save me." Amina squeezed his hand. "It was your kindness that saved me back then. Today, I am simply returning it." From the streets, shivering in the rain with coconuts, to the operating room saving the life of a man who once saved hers, Amina's journey was a testament to the power of kindness, courage, and resilience. Her story spread across communities, inspiring people everywhere. Children learned that hope can survive even the harshest cruelty. Adults learned that one act of compassion can change a life forever. Amina continued her work, helping the sick, the poor, and the forgotten. And every time she looked at the man who once rescued her, she remembered the cold, the rain, the cruelty, and the spark of hope that changed everything.